This is News Center 6 tonight.
They were back at the bargaining table.
But the media blackout concerning the coal talks still stands.
Good evening. UMW spokesman Jim Grossfeld would only say the talks are continuing.
The talks are taking place in Washington, D.C. and kicked into high gear around the beginning of the month. Yesterday, mediator Bill Ussery said he believed a total agreement is within reach. But Ussery has requested that status of the talks not be leaked to the media.
A Beckley man is arrested for allegedly killing another man late last night. 41-year-old Larry Darnell Davis was charged today with first-degree murder. The victim is 73-year-old Lester Gore of Beckley. Police say it appears the victim died of a knife wound to the throat.
And a utility worker in Wyoming County was the victim of a freak accident yesterday. Authorities say Owen Searles was cutting trees for a gas company near Copperston Grade School when one of the trees fell on him. Searles died in the accident.
Former lottery attorney Ed Rebrook is asking a judge to throw out his convictions on insider trading and wire fraud charges. Rebrook's attorney says the judge should have dismissed the case because of insufficient evidence. Rebrook was convicted of trying to profit from inside information on the alleged bid rigging of contracts for an expanded video lottery. No hearing has been set on the request, but Rebrook is scheduled to be sentenced January 3rd.
And Butch Bryan's conviction in the lottery scandal may cost him his pension. The executive secretary for the Public Retirement Board says Bryan's pension was discussed today. A final decision hasn't been made, but speculation is that Bryan's benefits will be pulled. A decision should be made at the board's meeting next month. Bryan was convicted of bid rigging and insider trading while running the state lottery.
Now for a quick update on that forecast.
Here's Stan Sweet.
That's right. The rain's coming, folks. It's not going to be here right away, but it's coming. Let's take a look at the next 18 hours and check what we expect. More rain developing tonight, and it'll be here later on after midnight, well after midnight. The low expected tonight, not very low, around 52 degrees. Then tomorrow, showers likely with a high somewhere in the 60s. There's more rain and even talk of snow in the balance of the forecast a bit later.
And coming up, more evidence that some Gulf War vets may have been the victims of chemical agents.
The story and more still ahead. Fire broke out at the old Montcalm High School tonight. Montcalm fire crews say the flames were shooting out of the roof when they arrived. The fire was contained to one end of the building. Crews fought the blaze for about 2 hours tonight. Montcalm and Bluewell fire departments were on the scene. So far, no clues about what started the fire.
The Women's Resource Center in Raleigh County was a big winner tonight. The shelter won $100,000 from the United Parcel Service for additions. WRC officials say they build a new wing so they can add bedrooms and lounges and give the shelter a more home-like atmosphere.
As we told you last night at 11, the issue of riverboat gambling in West Virginia is beginning to heat up. So today, News Center 6's Kevin McGraw went to Charleston to find out what all the talk is about.
Charleston, Kevin McGraw, News Center 6.
CCAir's decision to exit the area is still causing concern about future flight service. The airline made it official about 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, those in the travel industry say flight service is definitely needed from major carriers.
Major air company is going to give us a lot of benefits that working with a small regional airline would not have. The first and foremost concern of the people of this area, of course, is the cost. If we have affiliated flights with a major airline, our rates will be competitive.
Under federal law, CCAir has to continue its local service until a replacement is found. Meanwhile, labor disputes involving two major carriers could cause chaos at airports nationwide. Sharon Wright has more.
They're calling it an informational picket today.
One day before the big House vote on the North American Free Trade Agreement, and the momentum is swinging in favor of the treaty. Steve Handelsman has more now from Capitol Hill. Senator Jay Rockefeller says the federal government should presume that the mysterious illnesses plaguing some Gulf War veterans are service-related. And he says those vets should get free care at VA hospitals while scientists try to figure out what's making them sick. Today, Congress heard testimony from those stationed in the Gulf during Desert Storm. Rockefeller chairs the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs.
Pictures were released in England today that show the destruction of marsh Arab villages in southern Iraq. The pictures show villages that are either destroyed or abandoned. Ground-based Iraqi forces are being blamed for the assaults. Also released today were video pictures of several marsh Arabs that are suffering burns from chemical agents. More than 70,000 live in the marshes along the river Euphrates, including 20,000 refugees who fled to the area after an unsuccessful uprising against Iraqi President Saddam Hussein in the wake of the Gulf War in 1991.
Well, coming up, a look at the rest of the week's weather.
And later on, a look at one amazing stunt, a catwalk 11,000 feet above the ground.
A reminder for you that Rocky Gap High School and Rocky Gap Elementary are going to be closed tomorrow. They're having water problems over there. That's, of course, in Bland County. All of a sudden, I blanked on that for a minute. By the way, it's been so warm out lately that it makes me want to go buy flowers and go plant the garden all over again.
60 degrees.
Maybe I'll have better luck this time.
You wait until the weekend.
Then I won't want to feel that way.
40 degrees from what it is right now.
I can believe it. It should, because it is so warm out there.
It's nice, though, folks. Let's enjoy it while we may.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the almanac. That's the way we get started around here. To give you an idea what the temperature went up, blowing hot and cold, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my goodness.
So the moral to the story is if you're going to that WVU game Saturday, dress warmly.
Well, you bet. It's going to be in Morgantown?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably going to be
Right.
colder up there, I would think.
Oh, yes.
This
It'll be-
weather's doing an about face on us. 60 and then 20.
Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dan.
Coming up next in sports, part 2 of our hunting series. Tonight, the economic side of the story.
And WVU's Jake Keltner talks about Saturday's matchup with the Miami Hurricanes. Woody?
That's exactly right.
So Jake the Snake has something to say about the big matchup.
That's right. He says,
course.
bring him on. He's ready
Bring
for
him on.
Miami. That's
That's
exactly
good to
He's
right.
all
hear.
healed up and ready to go.
Well, he's almost all healed up, but he's ready to go.
Guess we'll see.
You know, folks, Jake Keltner says he is indeed ready to go. Not 100%, but he says he is 90% back. He says the hamstring feels fine, and despite what critics say, Keltner says the Mountaineers are ready to beat the Miami Hurricanes Saturday in Morgantown. Keltner said tonight on a conference call from Morgantown that the Ears want their shot at Miami and says WVU believes a victory is on the menu for Saturday afternoon on national TV.
We're taking this game like any other game. Of course, it's a bigger game than most others, so we're preparing real hard for it. They can say what they want. We're not intimidated, but you know we respect everything. What they represent and everything, and they're a good team.
Now, Keltner also notes that backup quarterback Darren Stetson will be ready if called upon. Keltner noted the team didn't miss a beat without him in the thumping of Temple. And a belated congratulations to Concord running back Dale Baker. This past Saturday against Division I AA Georgia Southern, Baker rushed for 135 yards and a touchdown in the Lions' 51-13 loss. But more significant was the fact that Baker ended with a total of 1,069 yards rushing and the West Virginia Conference rushing title. Plus, the senior running back has been voted the West Virginia Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Jason Poling of West Virginia Tech won the Defensive Award. It appears the rich just got richer. The state's 5th leading returning scorer this season has transferred from Shady Spring High School to Woodrow Wilson. Niles Wood, a 6'6" senior, has reportedly joined the defending state champions and is practicing with the team now. The decision to transfer to Woodrow Wilson, according to WJLS in Beckley, has been approved by the Secondary Schools Activities Commission, who said the reason for the transfer to Woodrow Wilson was academic and not athletic. Well, the Athens Lady Trojans have a rematch with the only team to beat them this season, the Mercer Christian Academy Lady Cavaliers, and that's going to take place on Thursday night. Tonight, in game 1, I should say game 2, it was Athens 47-29 over Montcalm, and in game 1, it was Mercer Christian 63-22 over Matoka. Mercer Christian and Athens on Thursday night. And other scores for you now: Golly Bridge, a 55-38 winner over Fayetteville. Midland Trail wins tonight. The final score 51-42 in the AA. As you check it out, this is a single A action. And in AA, Pineville, the final score on this one was Pineville 63-49. Tina Mullins with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Also, Pocahontas County a winner. Woodrow Wilson defeats, that's right, Bluefield tonight, 67-43, and it was Princeton nipping Mount View 63-60. It'll be Princeton and Woodrow Wilson in that AAA sectional final. Also tonight, Nicholas County defeats Oak Hill 60-44. Sorry about those numbers on the scoreboard. Liberty a winner tonight, 53-45 in the AA Region 5 Section 2. And in college basketball, Bluefield College is swept by King College. The final scores in this one: King College 83-67 and 92-82. You know, some folks do it for relaxation. Some do it when they have an appetite for venison or squirrel or turkey, but others do it just for the kill. But as Mark Brown reports tonight in part 2 of our series, Hunting, Passion and Tradition, it's also an economic boost to the state of West Virginia.
While hunters across West Virginia roam through the woods in search of the biggest bucks, it's the state and local hunting retailers who are bagging bigger bucks. A study conducted last year by the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources shows West Virginia has 300,000 residents and 50,000 non-residents hunting in the state. Those 350,000 hunters spend a combined 8 million days in the woods. And if you think those numbers are amazing, well, then the amount of money pumped into West Virginia's economy by hunters is even more amazing. In fact, it reaches into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
They expend somewhere between right around $200 million. This is a huge amount of money, of course. And of that $200 million, most of it is spent in the rural areas of West Virginia where it's really needed.
Hunting supports more than 4,100 full-time jobs in the Mountain State, not to mention keeping places like Princeton's H&S Sporting Goods in business. From guns to bows to hunting apparel to boots, owner Howard Hill does 66% of his business from sportsmen.
Big for me. I couldn't survive without the hunter. There's no doubt about that, you know, or any of that type of sportsman. And it's huge for the state of West Virginia. It's a tourist attraction, and it brings in loads of money, not only in guns and things, but in hunting license and all that. It's a big boost for this state.
The biggest season in West Virginia is, of course, deer season. Those hunters alone spend over $100,000 in the state. And while the boost to the economy is important, hunters serve another vital purpose, keeping the deer population down to a manageable level.
That is the major role as far as maintaining our deer herd at the proper levels. Hunting is a management tool, and of course, if we didn't have the bucks only season and all the others deer seasons, we would have a tremendous problem with overpopulation in West Virginia.
15% of West Virginians participate in sport hunting. That's the highest percentage in the nation. One reason? Well, hunting is a family tradition. Tomorrow night, we'll meet a Mercer County family that's been upholding that tradition for over 80 years. In Mercer County, Mark Brown, News Center 6 Sports.
And of course, that's a look at sports for tonight, folks.
Very interesting series there. This is kind of something new for sports here.
It is. Usually we handle the round balls and the smaller balls,
Yeah.
the hard courts. But Mark Brown's done a nice job. Tomorrow he looks forward to seeing the family tradition, because it does. It goes back 80 years, and a lot of folks, when their dad did it, they do it, and they're going to teach somebody else to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll be right back.
See this? This is a bridge. It was built by workers. Know what those workers ate? Hearty home-style food. See this? This is a farm. Know what they do on a farm? They work. Know what they eat? Home-style food. See these? These are the home-style dinners at Shoney's. Pot roast, country fried steak, meatloaf, the kind of food that built America. See these? These are the vegetables and other stuff you choose with a home-style dinner at Shoney's. See the price? Reasonable. See this? The Shoney's logo, designed by artists. Know what they ate? Hearty home-style food.
I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling blue. I know it's over, and I know it's through.
Man, now that's the blues.
Next time you want a Diet Pepsi, Ray, all you gotta do is ask.
Now that's the right one, baby.
Your United Chevy dealers are having a truckload sale on the #1 truck in West Virginia. And now is the time to buy a Chevy full-size pickup built just for you. We're bringing in truckloads of special order Chevy pickups, a large selection of trucks with powerful V6 or V8 engines, standard rear-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a long list of optional features made for you. If you're going to buy a new truck, now is the time to buy one of the longest-lasting, most dependable trucks on the road today, a Chevy truck. Hurry into your local United Chevy dealer and pick out the truck made for you.
Notice, the following message from Hill's Remodel Store is intended for home viewing only. Our shelves are bursting with quality, brand names you know and trust. And with Hill's new remodeled setup, shopping is easier than ever. Spacious open floor plan, wider aisles, impressive new displays. Revisit and rediscover the all-new Hills with the same low prices every day.
A British businessman has achieved new heights in the category of daredevil stunts.
Ian Ashpole walked on an aluminum pole suspended between two hot air balloons about 11,000 feet above the ground. Ashpole said he didn't want to stop at that achievement, so he turned around, walked across the pole again, then jumped off and parachuted to the ground.
Amazing. And that's the news. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
From the NBA.
This is News Center 6 tonight.
Mother Nature just won't let up. Forecasters are predicting more snow for tonight. Good evening. Barrett is off tonight. We may wake up tomorrow to another snowstorm. The National Weather Service says another 3 inches is possible across much of the mountain state, just when we started to recover from Monday's storm. Highway crews in both states are on standby tonight, ready with their salt trucks and snow plows. The snow is expected to continue off and on through Christmas Eve. Winter snowstorms are wreaking havoc on the southeast. Alabama got hit with as much as 2 inches of snow in some areas, while other cities just experienced flurries. Drivers aren't used to the slippery road conditions. There were plenty of traffic jams and minor accidents. Forecasters say the snow won't last for long. Temperatures there are expected to rise right away. The Powerball drawing took place just a few minutes ago, but still no word on any lucky winner. The odds of any one person winning were 1 in 55 million. Still, countless people took that chance today, lining up in stores across the country to buy that last-minute ticket. The jackpot's worth $90 million. Some 50 million tickets were expected to be sold before the drawing, which took place at 10:59 tonight Eastern Time. Powerball is played in 14 states and the District of Columbia. And there was dancing in the streets in one village in Spain today after the El Gordo lottery drawing. The lottery was worth about $231 million US. Residents of the town of Campello who had winning tickets were dancing and uncorking champagne bottles as they tried to decide what to do with their Christmas lottery winnings. A large chunk of the money went to workers at a local fish factory, many of whom say they'll buy new houses and cars. The lottery tickets go for $20 apiece. Many people go in on them together, by the way. The winning numbers were called out today in a 3-hour televised ceremony. Whoa, not quite so much fanfare in the weather department tonight, but here's Stan with tonight's first check on the weather. Stan.
All right, it's time for first weather, and boy, there's nothing going on around here. I've checked the radar, and it's sneaking up from the south and from the west. The snow, that is, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's see what's happening in the next 18 hours. We have, there it is, snow advisory. A low expected tonight, down there pretty frosty, near 20 degrees, and a couple of places are almost down to that. Okay, what do we expect for tomorrow? Snow showers likely, with a high somewhere around 28 degrees, if you want to call that a high. We'll be back with that Christmas and Christmas Eve forecast in just a few minutes.
And still to come on the newscast, Michael Jackson talks for the first time in weeks, and much of the world tunes in. The story and more in just a few minutes.
Lots of fascinating real-life stories are told on television, and Inside Edition tells those stories better than anyone else. Who says so? Rolling Stone says so. The networks report great stories, and you see a lot of those great stories first on Inside Edition. Who says so? Time says so. Inside Edition is America's favorite daily news magazine. Who says so? You do. For investigations that matter to you, watch Inside Edition.
Tomorrow afternoon at 5 on WVVA Television 6.
There's a little rugged individualist in all of us, and nothing brings that out quite like a truck. And nobody brings you a truck quite like Chevrolet. Make your money count on CK with low 4.9% APR financing until January 4th. After all, Chevy trucks are the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Being rugged could really catch on, don't you think? Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today. Event ends January 4th.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Every year at this time, we count our blessings at Walmart.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We're thankful we get to live in a country where freedom has no bounds.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
But most especially, we're thankful for the people who make our jobs possible.
And a Happy New Year.
To all our vendor partners who bring us our great products, and to all our wonderful customers who buy them, may this be the merriest Christmas of all.
One arrest and another may be coming in 2 Beckley shootings yesterday. City police took 19-year-old William Haskins into custody today, charging him with 2 counts of malicious wounding. Haskins allegedly shot Ernest Burns Jr. and Derek Berry outside his home on G Street. The victims are from Miami. They were in Beckley to attend a funeral. State police say, or rather Beckley police say, the shootings were apparently triggered by a dispute over money. And the Walmart Corporation has decided to stop selling handguns, at least over the counter. The decision takes effect February 1st. Walmart officials say the move isn't related to any particular incident, saying some shoppers might feel uncomfortable with their sale in stores. Rifles and shotguns will still be sold as usual, and Walmart will continue to sell handguns through vendor catalogs. The NRA says the move will just open up opportunities for other retailers. A New York father took his son's words to heart that he'd gladly give away all his Christmas presents to get guns off the streets. Fernando Mateo is offering a $100 gift certificate good at Toys R Us for each weapon in by Christmas Day. The offer is good in 2 neighborhoods in Manhattan. The flooring contractor says for people who don't have jobs and wonder how they're going to buy gifts for their children, this is a golden opportunity. A Princeton medical clinic is opening its doors to needy families tomorrow. Dr. Jana Peters will be treating kids 12 and under tomorrow for free. Peters says the offer is being extended to kids in the Princeton area who don't have any health insurance. All they need to do is show up at her office on Harrison Street.
Well, I feel like Princeton has been good to us, so we need to give something back to our community. I feel like that in the spirit of Christmas, you know, God has given us many blessings, and we need to give those blessings back, and we're put here to love and help other people, and that's what we should be doing.
The free clinic will be open from 9 to 4 tomorrow. Pharmaceutical companies have also been donating different types of medicines. It will be used to treat kids whenever possible tomorrow. 29-cent stamps may soon become a thing of the past. There's talk 32-cent stamps could loom in the very near future. Postal officials are apparently considering the hike to keep up with rising costs. The Wall Street Journal is reporting the proposed hike would be a 10.3% raise across the board. But local post office workers say not to count on a rate increase right away anyway.
The last one took almost 2 years. We don't anticipate, or we have been told that there won't be a rate increase until at least 1995. And we're just now starting that process, so it could be late in the year of 95.
The proposal could come up before the Board of Governors next month.
Later on The Tonight Show, watch out. It's the Spin Man. He spins luggage, a bicycle, even a microwave. But what would happen if he tried to spin actress Mary Lou Henner or actor Daniel Baldwin?
I had an out-of-body experience.
Coming up later on The Tonight Show with Jay.
Let Kroger brighten your holidays with a wide assortment of gift ideas, seasonal favorites, and special treats to add life to your parties. You'll find thousands of holiday favorites throughout the store, all at our special low prices.
This week at Kroger, save on Cumberland Gap whole boneless smoked hams, only $1.59 a pound. California Navel seedless oranges, just 12 cents each. And Kroger Brown and Serve rolls, 12-count package. Buy one, get one free.
I love Vicky.
Vicky, I love her. I love her. I love her.
I love Vicky.
Who's Vicky?
She's one hot babe.
Hey. I love Vicky.
Vicky, I love you, babe.
We love Vicky. I feel so loved.
I love Vicky.
Love her too.
Weekday mornings at 11.
If you've got a cellular phone, you've also got a direct link to the state police. Just hit the star button and the letters S, P, and send from the West Virginia State Police.
The 94 Pontiacs are packed with power and excitement. Experience a workout each time you get behind the wheel. Grand Prix has been aggressively redesigned with dual airbags and more standard features. Grand Am's features standard driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes. It'll really get your blood pumping. And Bonnevilles are more exciting than ever. So work up a sweat with a test drive. It'll pump you up at your Mountain Pontiac dealer. It'll leave you breathless.
Grab a pen. We have those Powerball lotto numbers for you right now. The numbers were just picked a few minutes ago. They are 15, 13, 29, 1, 3, and Power 12. Again, that's 15, 13, 29, 1, 3, and Power 12. Good luck. I know a lot of tickets were bought out there tonight. If your holiday gift means not gaining weight this season, Santa can't help you, but our Barrett van has some holiday health tips.
Fitness gifts are available in all price ranges. It all depends on how elaborate you want to go. The sky's the limit when you're looking at price tags for fitness.
In order to help someone get involved in a program if they aren't currently involved in one, you might purchase a membership at a club or buy them access to a class, an aerobics class or something like that.
Or you could buy them some good shoes, which Rankin says are very important for most exercise programs. She also suggests exercise videos or equipment such as a step, an exercise bike, a treadmill, or a cross-country skier. However, she does add a word of caution.
I think you have to be careful about how you do that and make sure the person is really interested in that. Otherwise, they could take it as an insult. You know, you need to lose weight, therefore I'm buying you this membership. So you have to be careful about how you do that.
With proper care, there are a lot of different fitness gifts out there available to help just about anyone become more active.
Michael Jackson came out of hiding today to publicly state for the first time he's innocent of allegations he sexually molested a teenage boy. And Jackson revealed he's been strip searched as part of a police investigation of those charges. Jim Hanchett has the latest from Los Angeles.
Or you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
Near tears in a plain shirt in a simple setting, beamed across the world by a satellite truck at his Neverland Ranch. That's how Michael Jackson confronted allegations he sexually molested the 13-year-old boy whose face is obscured in this picture. This is the boy's lawyer.
I'm very frustrated because I represent a 13-year-old boy who I can't put on television, who I can't have him look the camera in the eye and say, Mr. Jackson molested me, and these are all the facts that I have.
Jackson's short speech, apparently read from a teleprompter, was carried live by Los Angeles television stations. Jackson is one of the world's best-known entertainers, so his 4-minute message played in Mexico and dozens of other countries. But Jackson bit the media hand that helped build him.
I will say that I am particularly upset by the handling of this mass matter by the incredible, terrible mass media.
Jackson also had harsh words for police. The boy suing Jackson gave police a detailed description of the entertainer's private parts. Jackson gave police permission to strip search him.
It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence, so be it.
Jackson says he's guilty only of loving children, not molesting them. These were his final words.
I love you. Goodbye.
In Los Angeles, I'm Jim Hanchett, NBC News.
It's not true. That's what President Clinton says about allegations that he used state troopers in Arkansas to help arrange extramarital affairs. In interviews today, Clinton says any allegations that he abused his state or federal positions are false. He refused to go into details on the claims by 2 former members of his security detail when he was governor of Arkansas. The president also denied the troopers were offered federal jobs to guarantee their silence. The troopers insist they're telling the truth. The daughter of Cuban President Fidel Castro has defected to the United States. Elena Fernandez Revuelta left Cuba for Spain and then flew to Atlanta yesterday. She made the trip after finding out that she had been granted political asylum in the U.S. Castro's daughter has been critical for a long time of her father's revolution. Fernandez, who's in her 30s, left behind a teenage daughter in Cuba. She says she's wanted to leave the island for years but could never get permission. The former model hasn't spoken to her father in years. Castro has never really acknowledged her as his daughter. An employee buyout deal for United Airlines has won approval. UAL spokesman Tony Molinaro says the company is preparing a statement with details of the deal. It still has to be approved by United's union workers and UAL shareholders. That process could take up to 6 months. If the union agrees to make wage and benefit cuts, they'd receive 53% ownership, maybe 63% if the stock performs well. The deal would make UAL the largest U.S. company with majority employee ownership. And coming up, more on that weekend forecast, and later, some sounds of Christmas from Mercer Mall tonight.
With Christmas just a few days away, every sports fan in southern West Virginia is making tracks to Spartan Sports in the Crossroads Mall. Spartans is loaded with sports gifts for every age and every sport. Everyday low prices, a great selection, and all your favorite teams. Make this Christmas a sports Christmas at Southern West Virginia's finest, Spartan Sports in the Crossroads Mall.
I'm a wheel watcher. I'm a wheel watcher. Wheel is America's game. I'm a wheel watcher. I'm a wheel watcher.
solve the puzzle?
Go ahead.
Nice going. It's America's game.
Monday through Saturday at 7, only on WVVA Television 6.
Every time we say goodbye.
Goodbyes are never easy, but none are as painful as saying goodbye forever. So please, give blood once more this year. You could help save someone you never want to part with.
I wonder why a little.
Your best quality Ford dealer has an offer that's sure to make your holiday jolly. His elves have assembled quite a savings on Ford Aerostar, up to $2,900.
Money, money, money. Ooh, that's so big.
Save up to $2,900 on Ford Aerostar with big cash-back savings plus a double bonus discount on a preferred equipment package that includes these great features. And that's before your best holiday deal. But hurry, this offer ends soon. See your best quality Ford dealer today.
A Tazewell County coal miner likes to light up the holiday season in his own unique way. As we found out today, his goal is to bring some smiles, and he usually does. He's a close cousin to the Rhinestone Cowboy, a surreal Santa maybe. Underneath all the glitter, the battery-powered light kit, the tinsel, and the cowboy hat is Jimmy Ball of Richlands. To say Ball enjoys Christmas is the understatement of the holiday season.
Some people laugh, some people are, they stop and wish you a Merry Christmas. Some people say they can't believe, that you would really do that. I've heard people say, you couldn't pay me enough money to do that. And I said, they don't pay me nothing to do this. I just enjoy life.
When I first saw him coming down the mall, I thought, there is the true Christmas spirit. I thought, he has a lot of nerve, too, to come down here and spread so much good cheer.
Would you do this?
Maybe on a dare.
Ball likes to visit malls this time of year. A lot of people find him interesting, including even the very young.
Well, all I have to do is just unbutton it and put it on. It takes a couple of hours to run all your wiring and get your tinsel. And
how long will your lights go?
On a good set of batteries, they run somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 hours.
As unusual as Ball is, if you can believe it, his family says this is mild.
He's walked through the middle of our town in shorts with a cowboy hat and a bright yellow sports coat and cowboy boots. I mean, he likes to draw attention everywhere, whether we want it or not.
Ball says he's a kid at heart, but even some kids give him a mixed reaction.
He's neat. I think he's crazy to be walking around like that. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight.
And when the holiday season finally draws to a close, Ball will go back to his job as a coal miner, tuck away the costume, and literally recharge his battery until next year. He reminds me of you. I kept thinking that all day long when I was talking to him.
He looks like my cousin.
Does he?
Yes.
Everybody's cousins, right?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He may be a last cousin. You never know.
Well, he is one of a kind, that's for sure.
We are ostentatious.
We are. You are.
To a fault, yeah.
How's the weather shaping up? No snow right now, is there?
No snow right now. No, okay. It's coming at us from both directions.
So we are definitely going to get snow tonight, you think?
Probably it'll be after 1 o'clock before we ever see anything. Okay. But you'll be asleep. You won't know the difference anyhow.
That's right.
All right, but I've got some green on today with the red tie, and tomorrow night it'll be a red jacket with the green tie. Is that right?
Sounds good to me.
We've got the spirit here, folks. Let's jump into the weather proper now and see what the almanac shows us. 33 degrees it went up to this afternoon at the Mercer County Airport. Big deal, huh? Coming up from a low this morning of 20 degrees, 69 degrees, and 11 below zero are the records over them, right? That 11 below zero just in 1989. That's just a few years ago. Sunrise tomorrow at 7:36 in the morning, sunset at 5:12 p.m. Look at those lights. They go one way, then they decide to turn on and come back the other way. That's the home of Harvey Quisenberry of New Hill, West Virginia. Did we get anything from anybody in Virginia this time? All right, anyhow, lots of action there, folks. Here we go with the stats. Are we there? All right. All right, there it is. 20 degrees. That's not right. It's not 20 degrees. I put up, we're 27 degrees. That's what I've been doing wrong one of these days. Once in a while, I'll stick up the low was for overnight. It's 27 right now. Just forget that. Okay, 71% the relative humidity, 29.83 inches of mercury rising at the moment, says the barometer. Southwest winds 7 miles an hour, keeping the temperature up, huh? Okay, just a trace, a little bit of flurry activity last night for about an hour and a half after midnight. Okay, are we ready now? Here we go. 2 shopping days left, and not even a whole day on a Friday, Christmas Eve, you know. Okay, 32 degrees, that's the warmest, that's in Charleston. 28, that's at Oak Hill anymore, yeah, 1 over in Richlands. 26 in Beckley, 30 in Princeton. Anybody else got 30? Yeah, in Roanoke, there it is. 30 in Princeton and Roanoke, who else has got a 30? And the Pineville, Mullins, Welch area. Okay, 27 in Tazewell and Bluefield, 29 in Wytheville. 22 is the coldest, and that at the University Farm in Union. Okay, 25 in White Sulphur Springs. That's all of it, folks. Here we go. Cold front just west of us here, just a few miles west of us, with a low-pressure storm system there drawing in the moisture. That is just west of it. There's a low-pressure storm system sitting down in the Gulf of Mexico. It's pulling up all this moisture and pushing it up in the path of the cold front. High pressure sitting east of us. That is circulating moisture from the Atlantic in the path of this cold front. We've got the combination here that we should be getting some snow out of. Are we getting any snow? Not yet. 2 Virginias are pretty clear right now, but look on the edge of West Virginia coming into Huntington. The last couple of hours, snow moving that way. Up as far as North Carolina down here, and they said there's even a spot somewhere in southwestern Virginia now, but it's, you know, it was so small it's not showing up on this radar here. A lot of rain down the south there. Look at some more snow down in Alabama and over in Georgia. Crazy, huh? All right, folks, here we go. Tomorrow, low-pressure storm system will be way out there as it goes up by us, while it'll circulate some of that moisture down across us in the path of cold air. And another cold front cutting down from the Great Lakes, the western edge of the Great Lakes on down into near El Paso, Texas. Low-pressure storm system with that. That'll be moving in for what, Friday? Well, let's just see what it looks like. Friday, it'll be coming across us on Friday evening. Right, so that'll bring some chances of snow then. Not big chances, because we're just about run out of moisture by the time it gets here. Then another little Mickey Mouse will sweep on down on Christmas Day. We've got some good chances for some snow activity. Not big chances, not big storms, but something. Tonight there's a snow advisory out for snow developing after midnight, and it's probably 1 or 2 o'clock before it even gets up this far. And it'll be coming into Bluefield long before it comes into the places up north of Bluefield right now. So low expected somewhere around 20 degrees. Light southwest winds keeping it from going even further down. Tomorrow, cold with snow showers, likely with a high near 28 degrees. This time, northwest winds. Those are the cold ones. And tomorrow night, just cloudy and cold. Low expected somewhere down in the teens, though, and that is plenty cold. Okay, here's the extended outlook with that Christmas look. We move from Thursday over to Friday, and what do we expect? Well, Friday is a cloudy, a 30% chance of snow showers from late morning on, 25 for the high. Look at those lows, 15, 15. Okay, then Christmas Day. Friday, of course, is Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, Saturday, blustery and cold, scattered snow showers with a high 18 to 22. You call that a high? Overnight low, down in the teens too. Then Sunday, more scattered snow showers, not quite as cold. 30 for the high, overnight low, 25. A little bit warmer, isn't that nice?
It is a little nice, but what about, how much do you think you're going to get tonight?
I would hesitate to say, if you talked about tonight being from about 1 or 2 o'clock on till about 7 o'clock in the morning, I'd say we probably wouldn't even get an inch.
You don't think so?
No, I doubt it.
Do you think they're kind of overestimating just so we're safe?
Yes, I would say that. And then tomorrow during the day, maybe an inch, but depends on how these systems move, you know.
Yeah, when it's coming from both sides, it's kind of hard to guess it.
Yeah, I don't guarantee how much snow we'll get, by the way.
You never really ever do that, do you?
No, I don't do that.
Thank you. Well, coming up next in sports, highlights from tonight's championship game in Athens, plus Marshall tries to find a way to stop the losing. Woody?
Well, they'll have to search for another way to stop the losing. We'll get to all that, but first we want to go to the top 25 in the NBA scoreboard. We'll be back with more sports right after this timeout.
Not far from your home, there's a place you can count on low prices day in and day out.
We appreciate our customers here at your Beckley Walmart. It seems only natural to thank you for your business at this special time of year. So from your friends at your Beckley Walmart, we'd like to thank you and wish you the happiest of holidays and a wonderful new year.
Walmart, always the low price, always.
It's year-end closeout time at your hometown GMC truck dealers. Save on Sonoma, redesigned for '94 with a new chassis and larger cab. Order yours today from $99.95. Get a new Sierra with GMAC financing at 4.9% APR for up to 48 months. Get $1,000 cash back on a new GMC Jimmy and make no payments for 90 days on any new GMC truck. Get the truck you want at the price you want during the year-end closeout at your hometown GMC truck dealer.
For 47 years, the Deskin family of stores has been helping you make your holiday meal something special.
Thornapple Valley Cooked Buffet Ham, 5 pounds, $7.48. Valleydale Sliced Bacon, the 12-ounce pack, $1.08. Pepsi Cola, the 2-liter bottles, 2 for $1.78. And Terry's Potato Chips, the 10-ounce bag, $1.39.
From the entire Deskin family of stores, we want to wish your family the happiest of holidays. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Let's compare these two babies. The baby on the left has a beating heart. So does the baby on the right. The baby on the left has arms, legs, fingers, and toes. So does the baby on the right. The baby on the left can turn and jump and kick. So can the baby on the right. The difference is, the baby on the left was just born, and the baby on the right would very much like to be. Life. What a beautiful choice.
It was supposed to have been wrapped up last night, but the Athens Invitational concluded tonight, and you've got some highlights for us, too.
Absolutely. A good ball game on tap in both the consolation and in the finale, Loretta. In fact, folks, tonight in Athens, the undefeated Mercer Christian Cavaliers squared off against the Athens Trojans in the finals of the '93 Athens Invitational, but the undefeated tag would not belong long to the Cavs. Picking up first half, Athens on the break. This is Philip Hazelwood with the pull-up jumper, and Athens was off and running. At the other end, Chris East feeds Michael Bolton, who hits 2 of his 9 in the paint. Athens, though, hot in transition. Here, Derek Blevins with the air ball grab. He keys the fast break. A perfect bounce pass to Hazelwood for the layup for 2 of his game-high 22. Brace Mullet added 18 for Athens, who wins the title tonight 81-67 over the Mercer Christian Cavaliers. Now, in Game 1, the Matoka Indians and the Oakville Owls squared off. Oakville up 1 at the half. Here, Charles Workman takes it inside, plus he gets the foul. At the other end, Brian Burton helps out, drains the deuce, but Matoka never led in the second half. Watch baseline. Aaron Terry with the outside jumper. Nothing but net. As the All-State Athens fans wait for the title game, Oakville claims the 60-53 win over the Matoka Indians as they win 3rd place in this consolation contest. Taking a look at a couple of scores from around the 2 Virginias on the scoreboard tonight. Graham a winner again tonight as they defeat Rocky Gap the final 67-49. Independence a 71-63 winner over Mount Hope. It was Van losing to Marshford 79-54, and Mount View defeated Oceana 69-62. Also tonight, Pineville 92-87 over Baileysville. Richwood upsets Oak Hill 91-82. And as you see, some of these teams were not supposed to lose this early, but there were some upsets tonight. In fact, tonight in Winston-Salem, the Marshall Thundering Herd looked to snap a 2-game losing streak and at the same time snap the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest 23-game home winning streak against non-conference opponents. But it did not happen tonight. That's simply because Marshall was just not there to get it done in the final. It was Wake Forest 82-60. Later, Virginia and Stanford out on the coast. Well, the state champion Giles Spartans have placed 2 players, that is, on the AP All-Group A All-State team. Narrows also added 1. Leading the way for the Spartans, Raphael Milton, who accounted for 17 touchdowns this season through the air and on the ground for head coach Steve Ragsdale. That includes nearly 1,300 yards passing and running. Opening the hose for Milton this past season was Jason Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe is a 5'9" senior for the Spartans, gaining first-team honors. And while no area players were represented on the defense, Narrow's Whitey Blankenship was named to the second-team offense. The Group A Player of the Year, Luray's Neil Porter, and the Coach of the Year award goes to Roger Pierce of Essex. Barry Sanders of the Detroit Lions has become the highest paid running back in the NFL. Sanders has signed a 4-year, $17.2 million contract that will pay an average of $4.3 million per year, according to one of his agents. If that figure is accurate, Sanders will make about $1 million more annually than Emmitt Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. The signing of Sanders comes one day before the NFL deadline for extending contracts that will not count against the salary cap that takes effect tonight, I should say next year. Also tonight in Kansas, it was a great ball game between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Indiana Hoosiers. Let's go to the highlights as we pick it up. Top 25 college action. Of course, this man here, Roy Williams, with his coat off, he's wondering. Watch here as we see the three-point lead taken when Pat Graham hits the three-pointer, 68-65, but it went to overtime, tied at 70. That's when Sean Pearson, three-pointer with 122, made it a three-point lead, but at the other end, of course, Damon Bailey ties it at 83, but it was Jacques Vaughn hitting a three-pointer for the Jayhawks tonight as Indiana loses to Kansas in overtime, 86-83. So there you have it, folks. It was a great ball game. When you see these two teams play, you can see why they're members of the top 10.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of highlights from Athens tonight. Looks like a lot of good basketball over that way.
You know, it's still early in the season. Of course, some of the kids still have their football legs. Mercer Christian doesn't, but Athens, of course, doesn't, and they're 3-2 after 5 games. So I think it's coming along real well for Cy Jeffries, and this is his final year as head coach for the Trojans.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks, Woody, and we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Nancy Glass, inviting you to join me weekdays at 5:30 for the Stories America Talks About on American Journal. From investigative reports to news you can use, American Journal will bring the stories home to you. Then stay with WVVA for News Center 6, the most complete look at news, weather, and sports from across the two Virginias. American Journal at 5:30 and News Center 6 at 6, weekdays only on WVVA Television 6.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
For over a decade, millions of viewers have watched thousands of contestants question hundreds of answers.
What is Jeopardy?
Jeopardy! The Emmy Award winner, honored for Best Host, Best Achievement in Writing, Direction, and for the last 4 years running, named television's most outstanding game show, Jeopardy! Celebrating 10 years of unquestionable excellence.
Weeknights at 7:30, only on WVVA Television 6.
Looks like the stars are lined up just right, 'cause they're back. Whoa. On NBC. Gonna turn on the heat and light up the night when they're back. Back on NBC.
He's back.
The stars are back on NBC. It's the only place to be.
We're back.
Yeah, the stars are back on NBC.
Party time.
Well, did you guys get your shopping done yet? Christmas shopping?
Yes, yes.
What are you getting your wife this year? Don't worry. I'm sure she's not watching.
Yeah, I better not say, but you know.
I got mine a trombone.
Did you? Oh, that's right. Something every wife can use, I know. Except for me. Well, some local Concord College musicians gave shoppers a musical gift tonight at Mercer Mall. Here's a look. We'll see you back here again tomorrow.
This is News Center 6.
Flooding problems continue for Southwest Virginia.
And it's especially bad for those along the Giles-Mercer County line.
Good evening. More on those flooding developments in just a moment. But first, tragedy strikes in Bluefield.
A house fire leaves an elderly woman dead tonight. Fire captain teamed the body, but it's not known if that's what really caused the death. The state fire marshal is investigating the case.
A Concord College student who authorities first believed fell 5 stories from his dorm room today apparently staged the act. Concord College spokesman Tom Bone tonight says Charles Dabney made a confession to Concord's security director that he faked the accident. Dabney at first told authorities he was trying to hang a blanket on his dorm room window when he fell 5 stories. He was found along with the blanket on the ground near the dormitory and taken to Princeton Community Hospital, but he was released shortly after with only a sprained knee. According to college officials, Dabney was apparently suffering from personal problems. He's been told to leave campus, and Bone says he has quit. Dabney must seek counseling before he'll be allowed to re-enroll. There may be as many as 2,000 people without power in the Mountain State tonight, almost 3 days after an ice storm hit the east. West Virginia Power says at least 1,000 customers are without power in Greenbrier and Monroe counties. Another 600 have no power in Summers County. Another 300 or so are without service in Princeton, Flat Top, and Gent. And more than 79,000 customers in Virginia are without power tonight, and some people in rural areas may not get power back until late this week.
Power outages were on their way.
Drivers in Virginia may come across more than flooding this week, also roadblocks like one in Falls Mills, Virginia this afternoon. Virginia State Police are looking for kids who aren't in child safety seats.
We've been here quite a while and people start flashing their lights and all that, but I think all in all the word is getting around as far as a child restraint.
Drivers whose children are in safety seats get a stuffed polar bear. If kids aren't restrained, drivers will be cited and will face a fine and court costs of $76. If you need a child safety seat but can't afford one and you live in Virginia, call 1-800-533-1892.
Now for the latest weather news.
Here's Stan, and what's the big news tonight, Stan?
The big news is that it's
to the war.
Michael Jackson and his hit song Dangerous took center stage in Denver today in a trial over alleged copyright infringement. During a nearly 2-hour-long stint on the stand, Jackson sang parts of Dangerous and Billie Jean, playing to a packed courtroom today. Jackson was trying to show that the songs were his. He maintains he never heard Crystal Cartier's version of Dangerous, the woman who filed the suit. Cartier claims she gave Jackson a demo tape with a song on it. Jackson said he never listens to unsolicited tapes to guard against possible legal action like this.
Scores of case.
Riverboat gambling is the hot topic in Charleston right now. The bill's actually called Riverboat Gaming, at least by supporters. But what will it translate into for the Mountain State? Here's Kevin McGraw with a look in a special 3-part series called A Roll of the Dice. Tomorrow night, a look at why the state's considering riverboat gambling right now.
Lottery
State School Superintendent Hank Meraki said today the schools are not in a state of emergency despite school cancellations due to bad weather. Meraki told the House Education Committee some schools had lost up to 18 class days this winter. He says the schools have adjusted by carving out more time for basic skills like reading and math. Meraki wants lawmakers to allow the schools to skip 3 testing days this spring. He prefers the days for classroom instruction. Meraki also wants lawmakers to consider starting the school year a week before Labor Day. Classes now start the day after Labor Day. Now here's a look at today's almanac. We'll be back with the complete forecast in just a moment. Well, there's no school at Silver Springs Elementary tomorrow in Princeton due to a roof leak, actually near Princeton.
All right. Well, Bland County schools in Virginia will be running 1 hour late tomorrow.
And Summers County schools will be on tomorrow. If you're wondering, they will be on. They've had some power problems over that way.
I see you got the memorandum on what the
looks like I'm the odd man out.
Actually, I kind of forgot it was Valentine's Day because I've been so busy today. But you remembered. You're always really good about dressing for the holiday, aren't you?
Got to be in there with the green and the blue and the purple. And green on St. Patty's Day. We'll have green.
That's right.
Well, we better get ahead of this forecast, hadn't we?
Yeah,
all right,
let's
folks. Hate to break it up. Let's take a look at the, well, what's happening right. Are there any complaints?
No. We're glad to have you back, too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be back, too.
Especially with that forecast. I mean, you can't miss, right?
Yeah, come back to save this place.
That's right. Thank goodness. Just in time.
Just ahead in sports, highlights from tonight's West Virginia Conference basketball action.
Plus, Richlands has a new football coach, Woody.
That's exactly right, Lorette. Before we...
You know, tough competition is good, but every once in a while it's nice to have a team that you can just really
kind of a token win. Yeah.
Well, you know, Coach telling you schedule a couple that you know you can win, schedule a couple that you think you might win, and the rest, you know, you have an even chance. Tonight, Gail Catlett scheduled the worst team in basketball, in Division I anyway. That's right, folks, the West Virginia Mountaineers, Daytona International Speedway.
Boy, shows just how dangerous that sport really is.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Woody. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. About 50 couples in Des Moines, Iowa spend Valentine's Day giving what some consider the most precious gift of all.
The couples exchanged wedding vows at a hotel in Des Moines, Iowa at the 4th annual Numerous Nuptials event. The newlyweds were joined by some who were renewing their vows.
It's an awfully sweet Valentine's Day story, and that's it for us.
Good night.
Tonya Harding vows once again to win an Olympic gold medal.
The controversial figure skater made her final hometown appearance today.
Good evening. Harding is on her way to Norway, but her legal problems persist.
Jim Hanchett has details on the figure skater who's become a household name because of a conspiracy to maim rival Nancy Kerrigan last month.
Tonya Harding with her. In Portland, I'm Jim Hanchett, NBC News.
As far as Tanya's mother's concerned, she did apparently pass out today while taping a show in New York. LaVonna Sandy Golden was taping the Montel Williams show when she suddenly collapsed. Producers rushed to her side. She was rushed off to a New York hospital. No word on her condition.
The Greenbrier County, Keith Wilson, News Center 6.
Now let's find out how that forecast is shaping up.
Almost feels like spring out there tonight, Stan.
Well, spring hasn't exactly sprung yet.
Lawmakers are considering a crackdown on pornography, especially that aimed at children. 3 measures were introduced today in Charleston, including outlawing the distribution of pornography to minors and defining obscene materials, and also making it a felony for anyone to sell, distribute, or promote pornography. It would also let communities set their own standards when it comes to pornography. The ACLU is already fighting these new proposals.
Which then arrested Eichner.
And a Raleigh County woman remains behind bars tonight after a magistrate found probable cause to send her case to the grand jury. The case is a child abuse turned murder case after the death of 2.5-year-old Derek Browning. A preliminary hearing was held today for 19-year-old Julianne Wyatt, custodian of the child, and the live-in girlfriend of the boy's father, Kevin Browning. Testimony today centered around Wyatt's statement she gave authorities, claiming Browning would beat the child with a spoon and his fist and shake him. Authorities say it appears Wyatt also physically abused the child. And Assistant Prosecutor Kristen Keller says Wyatt didn't alert authorities until the boy collapsed.
And besides Julie Wyatt describing Kevin Browning cracking the baby over the head, on what other areas of the body did Julie Wyatt state that she observed her lover hitting the child with the object?
A grand jury will decide whether to indict Wyatt. She's charged with murder, felony child abuse, and malicious assault for not seeking medical attention for the child. She is reportedly also pregnant.
Hospital of Veterans.
When it comes to a balanced budget amendment, Senator Robert Byrd says he'll vote no. In fact, the Democrat is one of the most outspoken opponents to the amendment, saying it forces harsh cuts in federal services. According to a Clinton administration analysis, a balanced budget amendment would make the average West Virginian pay $546 more in federal taxes each year, and would apparently cost the state $800 million a year in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits.
Wes.
Expect to see debate on riverboat gambling really fire up within the next 2 weeks, but some are wondering about the timing of the bill. Here's Kevin McGraw with part 2 of A Roll of the Dice.
When Cole was in Charleston, Kevin McGraw, News Center 6.
And tomorrow night, we'll take a look behind the scenes at how the measure made it to lawmakers.
In Virginia, protecting jobs.
And the Navy's top officer is calling it quits, a casualty of the Tailhook Convention. The Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Frank Kelso, attended the 1991 Aviators Convention, and he was embroiled in controversy ever since. Kelso denied ever witnessing any of the sexual misconduct that took place during Tailhook, but lawyers for 2 Navy pilots maintained Kelso was present in areas where sexual assaults occurred. Kelso retires April 30th, 2 months earlier than scheduled. Now here's a look at today's weather conditions. Dan's next with a complete forecast. It does almost feel like spring out there, doesn't it? Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but you know, it's not bad.
I mean, except for tonight.
It'd be a very cold spring night.
Even the nighttime is warmer than it's been.
Well, all right. It's around
I'm no weatherman.
freezing. It's around freezing. That's not bad.
It's not freezing, is it?
Yeah, pretty close.
It's not zero, though.
No, it's not zero. That's what we had trouble with before, folks. And it's only a few weeks ago. All right, let's jump into the weather proper here and show you what the conditions are. A bit of rain we're expecting, but it's going to be very warm, too.
It does. It looks great.
Nice. Now there is the springtime.
Yeah, I started saying that looks
I'm
just
telling
like a
you,
spring
it's
night.
spring. Spring's here.
It
No more
feels,
snow.
It feels. It doesn't. We got a lot of snow on the ground still, though.
I know. And Winter Place, you know, it's actually great skiing now because it's got
Oh,
snow and
yeah.
it's still cool enough.
And the
to
snow
keep
is
it.
all over for the rest of the winter.
That's our
You heard it.
prediction.
You
That's
heard
right.
it from Barrett.
That's our prediction.
Oh, actually, that was more of a question.
That's what they pay Stan to do, Barrett.
We'll find out later, I guess. Coming up next in sports, the mighty comeback by the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagle.
Plus, Bluefield battles Pineville tonight. Woody.
A couple of fine ball games coming up in just a couple of moments, folks.
Big matchup tonight in Princeton with the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles.
You know, the first time they met, Princeton lost by 10. Tonight, they tried to make things a little different. You know, folks, the top-ranked Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles minutes for a 3-3 draw. So the United States in 2 hockey matches are now tied in both of them.
Hockey looks like a pretty rough sport out there.
Hockey is a sport for real men, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know a lot about it, but I know I wouldn't want to be out there.
Well, it's tough enough just to skate.
At least you gotta learn how to skate.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That'd be a place to start, I guess.
Absolutely.
Well, it's
Need
great
one of
that
those masks.
that gold medal skiing was really unexpected. It's great to see that.
Well, you know, they were talking about, they being the media, of course. We're talking about the
Whoever they are.
luge and all of that being, the ice portion of it, the skating and all that, supposed to bring some gold, but they did not expect any on the snow as far as the downhill is concerned.
Yeah, so we're doing great so far, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Woody. We'll be right back right after this message. With a whip of the wrist, a British woman evened the score of a 44-year-old transatlantic rivalry.
Once again, women from Olney, England and Liberal, Kansas ran a 415-yard course in their respective hometowns, racing with a pancake in a skillet. During the race, the contestants flipped the pancake twice at the start line and at the finishing line. Competitors have a good time and raise money for cancer research. British contestant Claire Whittle ran the course in 1 minute, 2 seconds. Pretty scientific there, winning today's race and falling just short of the record. The competition between the two towns began in 1950, and the series is now tied at 22 wins apiece. I don't know, maybe this should have been a sports story. I mean, it's very sportsy, Woody.
Well, you know, I worked in Liberal, Kansas back
Did
in
you?
1969 at KLIB Radio.
Was it a liberal town?
That's right.
It was more conservative than you would imagine.
A lot of wheat fields, I'd imagine.
I would imagine.
Any pancakes out there?
A lot of syrup.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Woody.
That's the news. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
Stan Sweet's weather, Woody Morgan sports. This is News Center 6 tonight.
Authorities think they may leak some dangerous national secrets.
And so bond has been denied for an Arlington, Virginia couple accused of spying for the Russians.
Good evening. Accused Soviet spy and former high-ranking CIA official Aldrich Ames and his wife will stay in jail.
While they wait for formal espionage charges against them.
As Pat Collins reports.
The FBI says its new estimate of
occupied West Bank.
And the legal process is beginning for 6 Arizona men accused of trying to send explosives for use by the Irish Republican Army. The Tucson Six, as the defendants are now known, are charged with trying to send almost 3,000 detonators to New York on a Greyhound bus. The devices were packed in boxes marked clothing. The men are also charged with trying to buy a shoulder-fired missile and sniper rifles for the IRA. Jury selection got underway today. The trial itself could take up to 2 months.
A teenage girl is at the center.
A Mercer County woman is undergoing facial surgery tonight following a 2-car accident on a bridge in Spanishburg today. 18-year-old Linda Schrader of Kegley, along with her husband and 2 brothers, were in one car on Route 10. The driver of the other car was 20-year-old Sean Radford of Spanishburg. Police say he was traveling at an excessive rate of speed when the 2 cars collided head-on while crossing the 1-lane bridge. Police say there were skid marks 100 feet before the bridge on Radford's side. Radford says the rain and sleet made it to where neither driver could stop.
An effort to revive gambling.
The issue may be dead in Virginia, but it got its second wind in West Virginia's capital today. A House subcommittee tonight endorsed the casino gambling bill after shooting it down on Monday. The Finance Committee will debate and vote on the measure tomorrow, but the decision to reconsider riverboat gambling doesn't bring any guarantees. In fact, Senate leaders say they won't even consider putting riverboats with casinos on West Virginia's waterways.
Now let's take a look at that first forecast.
And it's a pretty rainy one out there right now, maybe snow depending on where you live. Tonight we're calling for more rain or possibly snow. Now some areas have been seeing some freezing rain, so you want to look out for that in the morning. Lows tonight will be in the 30s.
And now for a look at tomorrow, rain possibly heavy at times with high
More encouraging news for the economy. Bluefield, Virginia has signed on another discount warehouse store, Sam's Club. News Center 6's Kevin McGraw has the story.
Sam's Club. Their diet after not quite getting the results he had hoped for on a pill diet we'll tell you about. That's tomorrow.
Can't wait for that one. Well, a Pikeville, Kentucky woman had a vision and her town is now having headaches. Kim Colley says the angel of the Lord told her in a vision that Pikeville and several other cities would be hit by a devastating earthquake this Saturday. Colley says people living in the city limits of any city in the region should evacuate. Colley's been warning people about the envisioned quake since about the middle of February. Area insurance agencies have reported a mini boom in earthquake coverage since the story hit. Scientists say, though, that there are no active faults close enough to Pikeville to cause any damage. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Serves.
No one is sure why a Salem, Virginia man gunned down a store clerk Saturday in Montgomery County, Virginia. A trucker who tried to stop the gunman is now fighting for his life in a Roanoke hospital. And as Francis Langner reports, part of the crime was captured on video with a security camera.
29-year-old Tim.
Well, Stan's still a little under the weather, so we're without a weatherman once again. But Loretta's here. See, Teresa was here last night when Loretta was
feeling sick.
Yeah,
right.
She was sick last night. So.
Right, and everybody's going to be sick after they hear me do the weather, right?
I doubt it. But anyway,
we'll see.
The storm we've been talking about is finally here. Not much snow, but plenty of rain.
Some places are seeing snow tonight, though. Let's step outside and tell you what's going on with our current conditions. Starting with Bluefield, the temperature is 30 degrees. The temperature is 33 at the airport. The relative humidity is at 87%. The barometer is at 29.99 inches of mercury and falling, with winds out of the east-northeast at 12 miles an hour, gusting all the way up to 18. 26/100ths of an inch of precipitation to report tonight. And from the Raleigh County Airport, currently it's 34 degrees outside. The relative humidity is at 89%. The barometer is at 30.03 and falling also. Winds are out of the east at 8 miles an hour with 31/100ths of an inch of precipitation there. Now checking the latest surface map, the high pressure we've enjoyed for the past few days has finally given way to a low pressure storm system moving up from the south. Right now the storm is situated in southern Mississippi, spreading precipitation all the way up to our region and north on into Pennsylvania. You get the idea. There's a lot of moisture associated with this system, and it's a good thing the temperatures are warm, which means rain instead of snow. Now, if you live in Greenbrier County, in parts of Greenbrier County, there is snow tonight, up to 2 inches in some areas. By tomorrow, the storm center will be due east of us. Not much you can say about this picture except to expect rain most of the day and on into the night until the storm moves far enough to the north. Temperatures will be cold enough to bring some heavier snow to the northern and eastern panhandles of West Virginia tomorrow, somewhere around 4 to 6 inches tomorrow. Now for Thursday, low pressure continues to move up the northeast coast. Even though centered well north of us, there will still be enough strength in this system to throw back some light flurries over the area Thursday morning. Now checking the regional forecast for tonight, there is a flood watch out for the entire viewing area. Beware if you live in a flood-prone area, as we're expecting rain, possibly even up to 2 inches of snow in some areas. Not much more than that, though. Lows are going to be in the 30s, and winds will be moving out of the east between 15 and 25 miles an hour. For tomorrow, expect more rain, possibly heavier at times, with temperatures a little warmer in the 40s. Still pretty swift winds out there at northeast between 15 and 25 miles an hour. And tomorrow night, rain likely changing over to light snow, low temperatures in the 20s. Checking the extended outlook, starting with Thursday, this is what we've all been waiting for. Light flurries possible, highs in the mid-30s, lows in the upper 20s. Friday, expect a break from the rain, but not the clouds. Mostly cloudy skies are in store with highs near 40, lows in the mid-30s. And as you can see for Saturday, more clouds and possibly some more rain with scattered showers expected. Temperatures approaching 50 during the day and overnight lows in the upper 30s. Not a bad forecast, all things considered. Heavy snow is predicted for the New England states. And remember, we're going to be seeing a lot of rain maybe over the next, over the evening, and maybe some snow tomorrow, so look out for all that stuff.
A little bit of rain and sleet mixed out there. Has this girl missed her calling or what?
Yeah,
nice job.
It was sports, now it's weather. What am I going to be doing next? Who knows?
But honestly, the weather guy, Glenn did leave us a few notes to
he left us a little cheat sheet.
Do the forecast there with, so.
I'm not good at maps. I can't even get to Princeton without, No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you did good tonight.
Thanks.
Well, coming up next in sports, Woodrow Wilson battles Mount View in AAA sectional play.
Plus Class A sectional highlights from Princeton. Thank goodness Woody's here. Woody?
Thank you very much, Loretta. In fact,
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Morgan here to tell us about it.
About Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
Fact is, we'll get right to it, Barrett.
Thank
The
goodness.
seemingly invincible Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles knowledge who the applicants were, nor did he set a deadline for replacing Freeman. So, you know, when folks see a losing basketball team, it doesn't matter if it's on the college, high school, or wherever, even in the rec leagues, everybody thinks they do a better job.
Oh, sure.
It seems like that's the way it always is in just about any walk of life.
Didn't you just do a series on, you know, overemphasizing the importance of winning?
I certainly did, and you know, since we've done that series, Loretta, I have talked with more and more people who tell me more and more about the cheating, but you know what the thing is? Nobody. Now, folks, this is the sad part about it. Nobody will stand up and say who is doing it, why they're doing it, and try to put it to an end. Everybody's worried about their own jobs.
Yeah, that's the way it is in news, too.
Absolutely.
A lot of times we get tips, but no one will actually point us specifically where to go. They'll kind of give us a hint.
But you recognize there are problems, and maybe this is helping bring some awareness about.
Maybe it is. Maybe by talking about it, somebody will stand up and tell us what is actually going on record. Although we have a lot of background information, so far nobody's going to stand up.
Okay, well, thanks for
waiting to see.
We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
So if we can make it through the next couple of days with lows in the 20s or upper 20s, we ought to, the rest of the week ought to be a piece of cake.
And if we can make it without a weatherman, we'll hopefully have one for you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
A lawsuit in Summers County is dropped.
Even though the group suing the school board says it has reason to press on.
Good evening. The lawsuit was against 3 members of the Summers County Board of Education.
But the Concerned Citizens for Better Education says there would be no point in pursuing the matter. Last May, the group...
A McDowell County man convicted of second-degree murder is asking for a second chance. Drew Bailey of Panther has appealed to the state Supreme Court. Bailey was convicted in the 1991 death of Albert Justice after a barroom brawl. In his appeal, he claims he was denied his constitutional right to adequate counsel. He also claims he entered a plea agreement because he didn't understand the case against him. The petition also states 5 people testified at Bailey's lower court appeal, saying the fatal blows came from another man, not Bailey.
Senator Roosevelt.
County commissioners from all over the U.S. met in Washington today to protest federal program mandates that don't include money to carry them out. A throng of protesters under a banner that read, "Stop the Mandate Madness," stood on the steps of the Capitol to voice their complaints. They complained that the federal government requires them to provide certain programs and services, but fails to budget enough money for the local communities and governments to implement them. Conditions outside are on the cool side.
And rainy, too, in some places. How's the first forecast looking right now? Stan?
First forecast looks pretty good.
A former Virginia beauty queen may know more about her fate next month. Tracy Lippard's case is being waived to a Greenbrier County grand jury. Lippard is accused of plotting to kill a Lewisburg family. Authorities say jealousy drove her to it. Rod Weichel, whose daughter is engaged to Lippard's ex-boyfriend, says Lippard appeared on his doorstep last month posing as a stranded motorist. Not knowing Lippard, he let her in to use the phone. Weichel says Lippard attacked him, hitting him in the head with a hammer. Police searched Lippard's car and reportedly found a list of items. A source close to the prosecution says those items were needed to carry out the deaths of other Weichel family members. A grand jury will consider Lippard's case next month.
2 Bluefield brothers at level.
Most art exhibits are hands-off, but at the Beckley Youth Museum, there's one show on display that encourages fingerprints. Keith Wilson takes a look.
What if I told you that you could walk right up...
Arts have been a growing problem in recent years.
An interesting revelation about spies in the CIA. The House Intelligence Committee had warned the spy agency it was headed for disaster unless it improved its ability to spot spies in its ranks. That was 2 years after Rick Ames allegedly started spying for the Kremlin. The panel has begun a new investigation into CIA flaws after the arrest of Ames and his wife.
Big news from Monroe County within 90 days.
And good news today for Wyoming County. Governor Caperton announced today a decision by the Pocahontas Land Corporation to donate 2,400 acres of land for the county's economic development. And the land will go to the Talon Manufacturing Company to give it a new home and room to grow. The company plans to add 200 more workers.
The Talon project has brought 50 manufacturing jobs to Wyoming County, and now they've gotten Pocahontas Land Company to give 2,400 acres to be used as the basis of an industrial park and further expansion of this industrial base for Wyoming County.
Talon is under contract with the Army. It takes apart ammunition and it makes small plastic training ammunition. The extra land may also be used for military training and an industrial park.
How about some fun in the sun?
Yeah, how about it? Well, they are more than dreams down at St. Petersburg Beach, Florida. It is, for many college students, spring break, and you know what that means. Beach parties, volleyball, a swim in the ocean, and of course lots of sun tanning. Florida is just right for that right now. 80s today throughout much of the state. The same forecast is on tap for tomorrow. Boy, they luck out. Whenever I went on spring break, it rained.
It's a good way to get into weather, Stan.
I'm the one who put that package, you know, together there, that little VO.
I hope your wife didn't see the way you
picked the girls. I picked the girls.
Listen.
Now you know how he really is, folks.
Yeah, I'd rather look at the girls, the young girls, than that old guy there.
And we could get some of that around here. I mean, the sun, that is.
Yeah, that's what we need, some of that around
You guys,
here.
enough. Let's talk about the weather.
All right, let's go to the weather. It's cloudy and 30 degrees outside right now. Okay? All right, let's take a look and see what's going on right now. And Bluefield tomorrow night. Keep an eye out on those streams. It might be moving up. Okay.
Yeah, we can't take much more rain because it is saturated right now.
The ground is loaded.
It really is.
That's right. The water table is on top now.
Yeah. That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Soon to be in our backyards, flooding our basements.
Yes,
it's
that's
not
true.
already. Thanks, Stan. Coming up next in sports, we'll set the Mountain States Regional Basketball Playoff picture.
Plus the latest on the Tanya Harding fiasco. Woody.
Another day in court.
Woody Morgan joins us in sports. What's the latest on Tanya Harding?
Well, the latest on Tanya Harding, she's in court again.
What's new?
Is that deja vu or what?
Yeah.
Well, she wants her day in court in order to keep her career, it looks like. So we'll find out
Gotta do
tomorrow.
what you gotta do.
I guess so. Tanya Harding had her day in court today, but consecutive years. So hopefully Coach Jackson and the lads from James Monroe will be something to talk about next year.
You know, it's hard to believe we've been talking about consolidation for so many years, and it's really, we're going to start seeing it finally after all this talk.
Yes, that's exactly right. Of course, Pikeview opening, James Monroe opening, and of course there's more that we don't talk about because they're out of our area, but that's a lot of schools closing.
It's going to take on a whole new dimension next season.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Woody, and we'll be back in just a minute. First, Michael Jordan joined the world of baseball.
And now a 2-ton baseball player is signed up. Benny the Asian Elephant took a break from a Renaissance Festival today in Arizona to make his debut at Phoenix's Municipal Stadium. He greeted the crowd, then took a couple of tries at throwing out the first pitch at Cactus League game between the Oakland A's and the Chicago Cubs. Benny then took a well-deserved bow, accepted some peanuts and praise from an appreciative fans.
You know, elephants are so smart. They really
the Cubs
are.
could use him, Mr.
Thanks, Woody. That's the news. Good night.
NBC Sports. This is News Center 6 at 6.
A small plane comes crashing down in Raleigh County today.
Just yards from Interstate 77, its occupants are in critical condition.
Good evening. Sherry has the night off. The plane crash happened around 10:30 this morning.
A husband and wife were headed to Myrtle Beach when, for some unknown reason, the plane lost power. A site like this on Interstate 77 usually engine apart to find the cause of the malfunction.
A raid in the foothills of McDowell County today could send someone to prison for 5 years. Authorities today discovered an elaborate moonshine still. Teresa Hamilton went along with authorities and has this exclusive report.
Yes, it's a challenge, you know.
Killing have all pleaded innocent.
West Virginia law enforcement officials received help today in their efforts to curb domestic violence. The weapon, a new law signed by Governor Caperton this morning, allows police to make arrests without actually witnessing assaults. Police can now make misdemeanor domestic violence arrests without a warrant when there is probable cause. The new law creates 2 new crime categories, domestic battery and domestic assault. Plus, it allows for charging repeat offenders with a felony.
State lawmakers in Charleston are on.
Monroe County voters will go back to the polls tomorrow for another excess levy vote.
It is the second vote in the last 4 months.
Superintendent Lynn Guy joins us now in the newsroom. Thanks for joining us, Ms. Guy. First of all, tell us, many are wondering, why the second decision to have a levy vote.
Well, first of all, when the first levy failed, we had to come back and try to capture the revenues that would need to be used for next year. If we don't pass it now, we will not have those revenues for the next school year.
Lynn, there are projections that the county school system is going to need or have nearly a $250,000 deficit at the end of this fiscal year. Now, could this levy be used to pay off some of that projected debt? And if not, how will the board pay off the deficit?
The levy couldn't be used directly to pay off the projected debt simply because we have a call for the levy and that has to be spent exactly the way the call was written. However, indirectly it could, because if we pay $76,000 on extracurricular salaries in the levy and we pay for that out of the levy, then we have that freed up money in the general fund so that if we can use that for the deficit, or we may not have to cut sports if the levy doesn't pass or the levy passes.
So exactly what will this money be used for?
It'll be used for several things. First of all, we hope to raise around $636,000 with that. 40% of the money would go to personnel, that's the bus drivers, the cooks, janitors, teachers, teachers' aides and whatnot, and 60% of the money would go toward direct services to students, and that'll include textbooks. We're going to end K through 8 fundraising. We want to provide an activity bus in the afternoon, late afternoon for students. We want to provide the sports salaries, $76,000 toward that, provide substitutes, and also some improvements to our K through 8 facilities.
Lynn, why do you think there's been such a concentrated effort to block the levy? We lost, you lost the last one. Now this time, same resistance?
Well, there's a resistance always to tax increases. People have a real strong feeling about paying a dollar more for anything, and in this case, I believe that we have to look at what our money is going to buy, and in this case, some quality services for students. The other reason for the opposition, I believe, and this has probably been brought out more than anything else, is that Monroe County has gone through a very, very difficult consolidation battle, and the opponents of the consolidation of the 2 high schools in the county are still claiming that the plan to build 2 high schools in the county that would have been less than 300 students each was a much better plan than 1 consolidated high school.
And finally, Ms. Guy, real briefly, do you think that with this battle that people have lost sight of the needs of the students?
It's hard to say. I think a lot of folks are trying to put the interests of the children first. That's one of the hardest things in education, is to make sure that the politics, the taxes, and all those things, we put the children's interests first, and I believe this levy does that.
Lynn, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
In other news, new waves of violence in South Africa.
News Center 6.
Time now to find out what is up with that weekend forecast.
Looks like some sunshine anyway, Stan.
Right. I think you're going to like this weekend forecast, even though it won't quite be picnic weather yet.
Woke up to a little bit of snow this morning. It's hard to believe it warmed up quite this fast.
Oh, it's going to be nice, too. It's 32 degrees and clear right now, so
great.
Not bad. All right, folks, let's jump into weather proper as we move closer and closer to the beginning of spring.
Yay,
Not
finally.
Bad. Have to
good.
break out the Bain de Soleil tomorrow to get that Saint-Tropez tan.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up next in sports, first round qualifying from Atlanta.
That's for sure. The Hokies and the Cavs open Metro and ACC tournament play. Woody.
Loretta, what did he say? It doesn't matter. But we will tell you who have survived to play another day. The Hokies and the Cavaliers are coming up next in sports. Don't go away.
I'm not going to sing any more suntan commercials, suntan lotion commercials, because Woody doesn't remember either that or I don't sing them right. So.
Well, the sun's not good for you anyway, so it's just as well. Maybe.
That's exactly right. What is good for you is NASCAR, right?
I don't think anybody will disagree with that.
Not around here anyway,
here.
folks. NASCAR's hottest driver of 1994 led to leave Mercer County. Now, what the problem is here, folks, is simply that every 2 years they renegotiate this. A couple of years ago, we had a situation where we understood that they might be leaving. The situation is simply they renegotiate, they re-sign after 2 years, and it will come up after this year, but they will remain in Princeton as we understand it now.
All right. Thank you much,
Certainly
Woody.
hope
You
so,
bet.
yeah.
Time now to check in on the 11.
Barrett, what's coming up tonight?
Well, crime victims in the Mountain State have something to look forward to. Federal funds arrive today. Also, we'll find out how Virginia Governor George Allen plans to bolster tourism. Loretta, Kevin?
Okay, thanks, Barrett. And coming up, our final story about a program that helps preschoolers get a taste of kindergarten.
From start to finish, including a ride on that big yellow school bus.
That first day of school can be pretty stressful.
But some upcoming kindergartners are getting a taste of what school will be like.
Jessica Galati has the story from Bluefield, Virginia.
Bundled up, some walking in pairs, this works. In Bluefield, Jessica Galati, News Center 6.
Seems like a really good program. You know, kids, when they know a little bit more about it, they feel a little more
familiar
calm.
with the territory.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first day of school, or do you?
That was definitely back in the dark
They
ages.
had school back then.
Clearly.
Right?
Well, the dark age didn't even have electricity. This was pre-stand. Oh, excuse me.
You had to
This
watch
is when
TV.
when you walked 5 miles and all that business,
In the snow.
barefoot.
In
yeah.
Texas. That must have been really unusual.
It was.
Watch out for the tumbleweeds.
That's right.
Well, they had to watch television by candlelight, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They really roughed it back
No
then.
electricity.
Thank you very much.
I think it's time to say goodbye.
I think so, too. We'll see you later.
You have been watching News Center 6, the region's most watched newscast.
A bloody day in South Africa.
Coming up next, the latest on that plane crash in Raleigh County today. We'll have the latest.
The president declares West Virginia a disaster area. Federal help could be on the way.
And a bizarre trial wraps up in Cincinnati.
Details next.
Is News Center 6 tonight.
President Clinton declares West Virginia a disaster area from last month's bad weather.
And the state can now start receiving federal aid.
Good evening. President Clinton made the disaster declaration today.
For the storms that hit the state between February 8th and the 12th, the severe weather caused power outages from ice and also heavy flooding. White House officials say the assistance will be made available on a cost-sharing basis to help state and local recovery efforts.
Innocent victims of crime and injuries not covered by insurance.
Some cities have already started mandatory recycling. Those that haven't may be getting a break. The State House of Delegates passed a bill that would roll back deadlines for cities to start recycling programs. The bill would extend the deadline for recycling from April to January 1st of 1995. One delegate says there are not enough composting facilities in the state to accept all the yard waste that would be turned away from landfills.
Authorities are investigating.
We're on News Center 6.
Governor George Allen today of Virginia said he plans to issue an executive order creating a task force on tourism. Allen asked its members to develop recommendations that will enhance the state's tourism opportunities. The governor's wife, Susan, will play a leadership role in the new task force. Allen says it's time for Virginia to return to prominence as a tourism leader.
Now let's find out what's making news in the weather department.
We know it's going to be warm tomorrow. How's it looking right now, Stan?
It looks kind of cold right now, folks. It's down at 20 degrees.
And coming up, a convicted killer is set free.
Why the state of Ohio doesn't want to pay for his heart transplant.
Number 6. A UMW member accused of a strike-related fatality apparently has a long history of violence. A federal prosecutor says Jerry Dale Lowe was seen firing a pellet gun on a picket line, and that when he was strike captain, he was on hand during a rock-throwing incident, and that he made a veiled threat against company officials during an arbitration hearing. Lowe is one of 6 UMW members accused of killing Eddie York, a non-union contractor who crossed the picket line.
Police will know expanding the war.
Miami is now officially the host site for a summit meeting of elected leaders from the Western Hemisphere. In announcing the Summit of Americas, President Clinton said this is a moment of very great promise and very great hope for the hemisphere. The meeting is expected to be held in December and will focus on environmental and trade issues. It's the first such gathering since 1967. Clinton says Miami is a natural choice because of its close economic ties to Latin America and the Caribbean.
Debate on programs.
The now infamous sex fainting case is over and the verdict is guilty. The decision came down tonight in the trial of a man accused of sexually assaulting his neighbor, a neighbor whose strange condition has made her the talk of the town. Melissa Ross has the story from Cincinnati.
Leave the jury and the issue joined. Finally
release.
Eric Jones, an Ohio man charged in the brutal murder of his wife in Youngstown, is set to go free as soon as he's well enough to leave the hospital. The accused killer needs heart surgery. The state of Ohio won't pay for it. Andy Gastmeyer has more.
That was within days.
You know, Stan, tonight is more proof than ever that clear skies don't necessarily mean pleasant weather.
No, it's 20 degrees if you want to call it.
But you know what? It is a good night for stargazers.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is a great night.
Yes, so jump at it, folks, but dress warmly.
Go out there and put a couple coats on and look at the stars.
All right, let's jump into what we're talking about weather proper here. Not a bad weather weekend at all, and even next week even starts out pretty nicely, huh?
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go out and just try and start the lawnmower just to see if it works.
Already.
What about a lawnmower right before, right during the fall clearance time?
You've got to dump it out and take the old gasoline out first.
Oh, you're right.
Put new in and then prime it real good. I bet that thing kicks off
I
the
just
first
learned
two
that.
tries.
My weed eater wouldn't work, and my stepdad told me it was old
Gets
gas.
moisture in it, yeah.
I think I might see if I can just install a sump pump in my yard. I still have a lot of
lot of
water in my
yeah,
yard.
so do we. We have a high water table.
Yes.
I know.
That would be right. Water table.
That's right. Water table's in the news a lot this week.
Just adding sports highlights from tonight's AAA regional final from Beckley.
Plus, both Virginia and Virginia Tech came up winners today in the opening round of tournament play. Woody?
They certainly did, and we have a big surprise. The Virginia
Woodrow Wilson has to be setting some records. I mean, they're on a roll.
They certainly are. They haven't lost at the Raleigh County Armory in what seemed like forever, and it has been forever.
That's a pretty long time.
It is a long time.
Sounds like a record to me.
It's almost like eternity, except different.
We know how long eternity is.
Sounds too deep
So
for
of
our...
us do, so we might as well go on to sports. Yes, folks, the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles are headed back to Charleston for top 20. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, the entire 40-car field will be set, so good luck to everybody in Atlanta on Sunday.
Safe traveling, too.
Safe traveling.
Thank you, Woody.
Thanks, Woody. We'll be back in just a minute. It was a 90s version of a King Kong movie today.
Visitors to the Empire State Building in New York found themselves greeted by these cuddly little creatures that we're going to see here just in a little bit, hopefully. Anyway, okay, there they are. There's King Kong anyway. Okay, there's some of the little monkeys. Anyway, they were there from Miami, actually trying to boost tourism for that state. What a way to do it, too. Cute little fellas.
Orangutan and
Did
a
that
chimp.
make sense at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Have a good weekend,
Yeah,
folks.
really.
From the NBC studio.
A back-to-school party in Morgantown meant a trip to the hospital for two students. The students went from Pennsylvania, the other from New Jersey, were at a party on Grant Avenue when they were shot at. The two were treated and released at a local hospital. Police reported a number of fights and incidents involving bottle throwing at that party. It wasn't sanctioned by WVU. It's estimated that up to 10,000 people attended the party.
Police reportedly in stable condition.
A surprising report out about air quality around the Lewisburg area. As Anna Cadet reports, no one's sure why the air isn't as clean as some might think. Greenbrier
Center 6.
Authorities are now searching Northern Virginia for a plane with 5 people that disappeared a week ago after taking off from a Manteo, North Carolina airport. A spokesperson for the Civil Air Patrol in Manassas, Virginia, says the search for the Piper Cherokee single-engine aircraft is focusing on Virginia because it refueled in Fredericksburg on Tuesday. Air Patrol personnel from Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina have helped in the search. Some U.S. officials are expressing concerns about 2 problems at the refugee camp at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba: heat and boredom. A Pentagon official says the military is considering sending additional personnel to deal with the influx of refugees. Thousands of Cuban refugees are pouring into the base each day. 15,000 Haitians are also there. U.S. officials have already had to break up several disturbances. 20 U.S. military MPs and 45 Haitians were hurt in one disturbance that took 4 hours to break up.
Attorneys for...
One study says exercise may protect older people from a potentially fatal type of internal bleeding. The study looked at gastrointestinal hemorrhage, bleeding in the digestive tract. The study found elderly people who exercised at least 3 times a week were 30% less likely to suffer severe or fatal hemorrhages, but researchers still don't know why.
Here's another reason to keep exercising, and much more easily.
Not the birth date, but the time of birth helped a McDowell County man win $25,000 in the Cash 25 game. Devin Hale of Kimball hit the jackpot after matching 3 of 6 numbers. Hale says his 2-week-old daughter was born at 510, so he used the number 5, 10, then added them together to get 15. Hale says he and his family will use their winnings to pay off a few bills. Well, Stan's forecast is coming up next after a look at today's almanac and this break. We'll be right back.
Nice day for a walk out there today. In fact, I did that. I should do more of that.
That's right.
Yeah, exercise, we just heard, is very healthy.
Well, why don't you just walk home tonight? I think that'd be a good idea.
I should.
Back in the prairie days, they used to do that. You know, after they got off the TV set, they'd go walk home.
It's cool and clear out there, folks. It's a beautiful night.
It is.
Let's jump into it, and I'll show you a trial. It should be here along about Sunday. So whenever it does get here, it'll bring a slight chance of rain. We hope it's not on Sunday, because we've got the Greenbrier Hotel employees picnic is on Sunday. I've been invited to that.
Oh,
yes, it was last weekend, but they expected rain. They canceled it.
I didn't know you were moonlighting at the Greenbrier.
It's a good place to moonlight. Thanks,
yes,
Dan.
it is.
Thank you. Coming up next in sports, we'll preview the 1994 Oceana Indians season.
Plus, the Reds and the Orioles squared off for an exciting game tonight in Princeton. Woody.
Certainly was an exciting ball game. In fact, they had a hurricane of sorts out there tonight at Honeycutt Field. We'll get to all that, but first let's go to the scoreboard. The Appalachian League's all we've got. Here it comes.
Well, the Orioles and the Reds have been battling it out all season here locally. It looks like one umpire and a manager was two tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, it got a little heated out there
It did
tonight.
get a little heated tonight. Looked like John Stearns trying to fire up his club. Unfortunately, it did not work, folks. Tonight in Princeton, the Bluefield Orioles going to be a big Friday night. Be sure to join us on Friday for Football Friday. But I want to invite everybody to join us Thursday night at 7:30 for our high school football preview, Gridiron Madness 1994.
I hear through the grapevine that's going to be pretty exciting.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be. All the area schools will be profiled, and you'll have a chance to know exactly what your team can expect this year.
Is Oceana going to have a tough year this year?
It's going to be tough for
so many
Oceana.
young
Well, they
players?
have so many young players. They're inexperienced, and anytime you start sophomores, you're in trouble.
And all these new schools, too.
Oh, yes.
But you got to admit, I mean, young players do have a lot of heart. It's just a matter of the heart can outweigh
That's
the
right.
experience.
Well, heart usually equates into 0-10 or 2-8 seasons. A little more heart and a little more experience, they go 4-5. And the next year, as seniors, then
they get the real glory.
That's right. They wind up going 8-2, or they wind up maybe winning a championship
As it
or
should
whatever.
be. Thank you, Woody. We'll be right back.
Two Charlottesville, Virginia women are lucky to be alive tonight after a tree came crashing down into their house.
Reporter Lara Derby has details on the damage.
Worth of damage.
Whoa.
You got to watch them trees.
That's for sure. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Good night. We'll see you.
You have been watching News Center 6, the region's most watched newscast.